From staff, we got Deborah Lushansky, Steve Hellman, Rebecca Tejada, James Roach, Jared Mann, our manager Ron Red, legal counsel Jeff Parker. We've got from the board, Bill Wasserman, myself, and Brooke is running into the door right now. Brooke Booth, Don Langley, and online should be Robert if he can make connections. He may be on a plane right now. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any unscheduled items of public interest? Seeing none. Any changes or additions to the agenda?
We have none.
Nothing from staff. Do we have anything from the board? I see none. We have board comments.
I attended the Bugman Cometh seminar not too long ago, and it was really interesting. The gentleman talked really about trying to plant in your yard plants that attract caterpillars to help with the birds, which was kind of an interesting event. I mean, when I was a kid, we used to catch caterpillars in the Lake Michigan sand. We'd make racetracks and see, which one would go where or whatever. Never won any money on those, so. But it was overall, it was a pretty interesting, and I think everybody that attended it seemed to be pretty now happy about the way it went. That's all I have.
Don, anything? No. Brooke, anything?
No.
Robert, I assume you're not there yet? Hearing nothing. Leadership comments.
Okay. Just a couple items for me tonight. So, how do I want to say this? So we're down a little bit, but again, we're hanging in there at 27,200 acre feet. We have recently got an influx of water from the storms, but this is where the priority thing comes in. We were out of priority. Normally, we exchange that water with wastewater, and that's what we're going to do, but there is a chance that we would have to actually open the gates of the reservoir and release it quicker, but we'll see. But right now, we're still over 27,000, which is great. People are surprised when I tell them it's over 106 feet deep. So all good news. So I sent you a picture of the Girl Scouts that we had here, and I just want to thank them. I don't think they realize calling us their hometown heroes is kind of something we're not used to, and we loved it. And to beat out the fire department is probably the highlight of my career, and I will be calling all my firefighter friends and letting them know. But we had a great tour. Then at the end of the tour, they presented us with 100 boxes of cookies. The next day we had an all-staff meeting, and the 100 boxes of cookies were gone, so they went put to good use.
Really? They were gone?
I know, it's hard to believe.
I don't know. I think we might have to have a committee investigate that.
It's yeah, it makes me wonder about our wellness, but it was a good thing. And then I sent you the picture, and I had parents laughing so hard because all the kids, as soon as they found out the microphone's on, started telling their parents it's time to go to timeout, and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun. I think it was informative. They're 8-year-olds, so couldn't get too in depth, but they got to look through one of our microscopes. So that was all good. So I want to pass that along.
Evening, everyone. Just real quick, I wanted to give an audit update. So the audit's been going okay. We had a discussion with them today. There were no major issues that they felt that were there. There's a few data items we still owe them that we'll try to get finalized and sent to them by the end of the week. We actually talked about a June 3rd date for the audit committee, so I was happy about that. And then presentation of the audit to the full board at the June 12th meeting. So I will be sending out some invitations here in the next couple, probably either tonight or tomorrow, to get those out to the audit committee. Speaking of the audit committee, Adam and Mike, who are our two citizen representatives on the committee today, are still wanting to serve and continue to serve on the audit committee, so that's great. I know Mike's in the background here tonight. I did not contact the other candidate that was interested in serving. I can certainly do that. We would just have to expand the audit committee for another member, but that would be a board decision if you guys want to do that.
I don't see a problem with that, do you?
I'm inclined to do it. It gives us depth. It's community perception and it's depth, and
Another set of eyes.
another set of eyes. You bet. What are you thinking? Yeah, I support. Okay.
Okay, I will try to contact that other member, try to make sure we can do it, but there'll probably be something at the next board meeting to try to expand that and approve him for the position. That's everything for me tonight. If you have any questions on the audit, I'll be glad to address them.
Okay.
All right, just one update for this evening. Wanted to let you know that we were able to get 3 submissions in for the community project grant funding through Congresswoman Lauren Boebert's administration. And so I have not received any feedback on it yet. I don't know what the schedule will be when they'll let us know. But we put in applications for land purchases for Fremont Butte Reservoir, for the water conservation and efficiency demonstration garden, and the reservoir oxygenation system. These were all projects where we could really highlight the impact on the community, both with long-term water, with conservation, and then with the health of the reservoir. So all really good projects. Part of the application process was to get support letters, and we reached out to all of the mayors of the communities we serve, and we actually received letters of support for all of these different projects from the mayor of Town of Parker, the mayor of City of Lone Tree, the mayor of City of Castle Pines, and Castle Rock Water also supplied us a letter of support. So I think that really shows how much support we do have from their communities.
Question?
Any questions?
So, yeah, what was the requested amount for each one of those,
Sure.
roughly?
I apologize, I don't have them in front of me. So for the land purchase, we requested $5 million, which is the max amount. For the water conservation and efficiency demonstration garden, at full build out, that garden could actually estimate at about $1.3 million. So we asked for $1 million. And then for the oxygenation system, that's a $2.6 million project. So we asked for 2.5, just keeping the numbers round.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think this one is me.
Okay.
So I'll get us started. I'm going to give you guys the good news, and I'm going to let Ron give you the bad news. But then I'll come back and give you some more good news. So I know you're very familiar with the backflow prevention device requirements. We put a lot of work into that last year to get that bill reversed. And so it finally made its way to the governor's desk, and he did sign it. And basically what it is that SDA likes to say it put the genie back in the bottle. It was a bad bill that put regulations on backflow testers that were not sustainable. And so we're very happy that that one was signed by the governor. The other one that we talked about a few times was House Bill 1286, protecting the workers from extreme temperatures. That one was postponed indefinitely, which basically means that it just died. There was way too much opposition to that to that bill. And so we were opposed to that bill, so we are pleased that it was postponed indefinitely. And then SB 25077 was the modifications to CORA. We were in favor of that bill. It was a bipartisan bill. It was a good bill. It was vetoed by the governor. However, the Democrats do believe they have enough votes to override this. So we'll see what happens with this in the next 2 weeks. There's only 2 weeks left in the session, and so it's very chaotic on the Hill right now. They're trying to get all these bills that were sitting in appropriations for the past month, trying to get those out, try to get those passed into the governor's desk. So, but I do believe that there is a good chance that this modifications to CORA will be able to be overridden. And then I'm going to let Ron talk to you about the next one.
Okay. So, and I'll be looking for board direction on this one. This bill, the House Bill 1334, limiting eminent domain powers for special districts. Deborah and I were given a heads up Tuesday afternoon that it might be coming, and then Friday it dropped, which is surprising with only 2 weeks left in the session. And we're gonna be recommending we oppose this bill. It basically is my understanding, we have two water districts. One wants an easement from another. One is a special district, one is a home rule city. It's Denver Water, whatever they are, home rule city, I believe. And they haven't come up with an agreement. Denver wants to now strip the dominant eminent domain special districts have, so that their situation would get resolved. And so I get it. It's everyone trying to protect our own interests, but at the end of the day, it's stripping away a power that we have. It's a power that I believe we need, and it's a power that was given to us for a reason. Delivering water and wastewater services shouldn't be held up if there's a property issue. What we see is this could at least block or cost us a lot more money to move pipelines through home rule counties or cities. And so it's a negative for us, and so we are recommending we oppose it. There's a lot of effort going in up there. We have SDAs opposed to it. I heard the River District is coming out against it. There's just a statewide push back, but there's also the cities and the counties see it as a gift, and so I don't know a lot of them where they're going to stand, but it certainly is a positive for them. So I don't know where this goes. The fact that there has been no public comment until today, there was a Teams meeting where Denver Water took questions, but there just really hasn't been any outreach. So I don't know if this has enough time to make it, but it could be a problem for us. It could block, again, any project, including Platte Valley, but any project, or it could be used to extract or leverage stuff out of ParkerWater. So I highly recommend we oppose it. So any questions?
Any thoughts on it, anybody?
I have some comments.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got word of this too through the Douglas County Water Commission, excuse me, and the bill's sponsored by Jennifer Bacon. She's District Number 7, which is Denver County. So there's kind of like Denver all over this thing, right? It's going to go to the Transportation, Housing, and Local Control, or Local Government Committee on Monday, the 29th. So that's kind of almost like going to committee is like that very first primary step. So this thing, they're trying to move it along for sure. It did, I'll say, hit kind of the network of the Water Commission. And we learned today that all three of the Board of County Commissioners of Douglas County are also seeking to oppose the bill, which makes sense because, 85% of the water in Douglas County comes from special districts. So it would just be, for Douglas County, it would just be a really bad thing to happen, for sure. So, yeah, I think it's something that doesn't do anything for us and could really be problematic down the road, for sure.
Bill? Booth?
Just, again, this is kind of an overreach by government. The special districts have been around for a while, and I think, wasn't there something that the federal government was going to try and codify a little more on special districts? But if we don't have the authority to do eminent domain on a project, I don't, you can't function. I mean, people will try and just hold off on asking really for rates that are well beyond market value for properties, things like that. I think it could be extremely detrimental to anybody, but especially as we're looking at the Platte Valley Water Project.
And I need to be clear, the bill is narrowed in that a special district couldn't condemn a home rule county or city, but we still have the power to do what we have today. But it does, I believe it's narrowed to those
That's
two.
correct, yeah.
And so we'd still retain our power to condemn. It's called
Private property.
It's private property. It's just home rule county and cities that we would run into problems. And we've typically, if we have to do condemnation, it's more like for easements and stuff here. So in this board, and ParkerWater historically does not like going down that direction. But I think what's happened is you got two water districts that couldn't work out a deal, and so this is one way to solve it. But again, the problem is 2 weeks to try to figure out, talk to people, to change a law for all special districts in the county just doesn't seem like good government. So hopefully calmer heads prevail, and if it doesn't happen this year, I'm sure we'll see it again in a year.
Brooke, you have thoughts?
So would it be for private property, like
No.
for Platte Valley?
No,
Okay,
it's-
good.
It would only limit us for home ruled, and there's not very many home ruled counties. I think there's only one,
Yeah, Weld.
Weld County?
Denver and- yeah.
Broomfield.
or
Well, Denver City and County, so
That's right.
that's another one, and there was
Douglas County might be a home rule county here shortly.
right. And then there are a lot more home rule cities. But that's where the restriction. We'd still have the ability to operate as normal anywhere else.
another comment.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is maybe as much a question as a comment, but part of the discussion that I was around was, Denver Water is an enterprise associated with the city and county of Denver. And so the thinking was that this could apply to any land that Denver Water owns. So if you're going to try and cross Denver Water land, and they own a lot, right? A lot along the river, that might be a way for them to trip you up too. But I don't know if that ties together or not, but I mean, they are an enterprise of the city and county of Denver, right?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at their exact structure, but an enterprise is like a financial type entity, and so the property is likely still officially owned by the city of Denver, and it's home rule, so then it can block special districts from trying to use eminent domain.
Anywhere they own property.
Yep.
Right, which, I think South Platte River, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so, interesting twist.
I lean to oppose. We've got too many opportunities and problems, particularly with the project that's in front of us. And God knows what kind of a little home rule city we might be crossing boundaries with a pipeline and have to zigzag around and around. So personally, I oppose. I would look for consensus from the board.
I agree.
Agree? Okay, oppose.
Perfect.
All right, and I have one more bill. Can you click that?
Yep.
And this is the good news. So first, I want to thank Michael Smith and Heather Justice for all the work that they have done to actually get this bill drafted. Also want to thank Lisa Skurlock, who's not here tonight. She's our operations program manager. She also worked very closely with Michael and Heather to get the proper wording in the bill and to ensure that the things that were really important to us ended up in this bill. So we're very excited about this. And I think, Michael, aren't you testifying tomorrow morning? I am. Okay, well, thank you for that. So this is what we've been hoping for, to help expedite and create efficiencies within the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment for their wastewater permitting process. And so the bill does help with that efficiency. They will have to report a plan for processing permits that have been pending for more than 5 years. We have one of those. They will have to come up with a plan to decide how they're going to get those permits expedited. They also have to allow an entity to request an independent and qualified non-governmental contractor that they approve to assist if a permit process is taking longer than 60 days. And the entity, of course, would have to pay for that private independent contractor, but it would actually help a great deal in expediting some of these backlogged permits. And they also have to propose some rules that would establish a time frame to grant or deny those permit applications. So it's a good step in the right direction. We had wanted a little bit more firm accountability, deadlines and such, but we were able to compromise on that to get some of the other things that we really wanted. So like I said, thank you very much to Heather, Lisa, and Michael.
Back on the, excuse me, you through?
Go ahead.
Okay. You're trying to say something. Okay, back on the eminent domain issue, I think we ought to plan to have some testimony on that, whether it's board members or you have staff or whatever.
For this,
No, eminent domain.
oh, okay, yeah, we certainly will.
Yeah, we don't have a date yet when they're going to hear that, but yes, we're planning.
So, and then just a quick update outside of the legislative stuff, but the county home rule process is moving forward. I get a lot of calls, and I've asked Jeff to help me answer them, and so the thing is, there's not a lot of information. When we look at it, we don't see a huge impact to ParkerWater necessarily at this point. A lot of the stuff that people worry about when it comes to us, the county already has that authority. But Jeff is going to continue to look into it, and we'll be able to get some to the board. The election, I believe, is in June, so we have some time on that.
Okay, the first election is for a charter committee.
Yes.
Until we have a charter in front of us from the charter committee, we have no idea if it's going to be helpful or hindrance or no contest. And I think the biggest potential that I would see coming from it is adjusting terms on elected officials, or even electing or eliminating some elected positions, such as the surveyor. Or in some counties that are home rule counties, I think that, for example, the clerk and recorder is appointed by the commissioners. And so there's some things like that that could come out of it. So it's that charter committee that I would watch who's going to be on the charter committee, because there's an election coming up for that first before there's an election for home rule. So.
And the whole purpose is to give you guys information, and it might be sensitive information. We'll do an executive session, but also to have something I can hand out to people that ask, because there's a lot of stuff being said that I don't think is true. But I don't have a law degree, so I have to wait for.
Until you got a proposed charter in hand, you don't know a thing.
Yeah, and I know Don had talked to, seeing if the county attorney could provide something. And he's like, well, I don't have anything to respond to yet. Mm-hmm. But even if it, at this point in time, we don't see a big deal, we would get that out. But we just haven't had time to dive into it. So, and I'd certainly let Jeff speak on that as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of speculative right now, like what is the county going to do in the charter, and what exactly are they thinking? And so there's some statutory provisions addressing water, but I'm not sure it's a big change from what they can already do. And so we're just digging around and trying to get some more information, looking at, I think there's like 2 or maybe 3 cases on home rule counties right now. I mean, because there's very few in the state, hardly any case law. It's just kind of one of these things where, like, I don't know what the plan is, and if we'll have to look at things as it comes down the pipe. But I think, yeah, you're right, Merlin. Charter is number one. Let's see what they're going to propose, and then we could respond to something. But we'll also get you a memo just addressing sort of, here's some of the general issues that could be impacted dealing with water. And so right now, I'm not seeing anything like directly obvious, but you never quite know what could be asserted under home rule powers.
Did we skip by legal comments?
No, he's next.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, what's that? No, it's okay. Yeah, I know. I'm next, but I basically told Deborah that I don't have anything for you this week, anything special. We'll talk about some stuff in executive session, so I don't have anything
Okay.
for you. Thanks.
Okay, approval of the April 10th minutes. Anybody have any additions, corrections, changes to it?
No?
No? Okay. Do we have a motion?
So moved?
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. We have a vote?
Yes.
Yes. Accounts payable, April 1st to 15th. Anybody have any more questions on that haven't been answered?
I had just one question, an information question. There was an item for the Isla Platte Valley Ditch Company, $30,000. Is that an annual operating assessment for the ditch company? Is that what that is? So that's one time, once a year for that one? Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have a vote?
Yes.
Yes. Financials.
Let's talk financials. So for March, through March 2025. What?
These short timers, I tell you.
Get excited about this stuff. So as far as revenue and everything, we've collected $9 million on the operating side. It's 82% of the budget. Not all transactions for the operating side of the house have been put into the system yet, such as interest revenue and stuff. The staff's been focused on the audit, and so that was okay. I told them I would just explain it. Capital side, $10.8 million. We're at 87% of the budget year to date. Spent $8.2 million, or 77%. Capital funds, we've spent $3 million so far. As far as cash on hand, 67 for operations and maintenance and debt service, 108 to support the capital program and debt service, and 102, almost 103 million reserved or restricted. The big part of that, we now have 77.3 million available for Platte Valley Water. So keep going up there. As far as user fees, we're actually up 4% for user fees for the year. Billed water consumption is also up 4.7%. Operating revenue, because not all the transactions for the most part have not been posted, is showing as $2.3 million down right now. On the system development side, we've actually done 194 so far this year compared to 89 last year. So system development fees still have a lot of folks out, or a lot of land out there that the builders are getting in and actually paying for their tap fees going forward. So operating expenses, it's slightly less than it was last year at this time, and it's about 76% of the anticipated year-to-date budget. And as far as the capital side, we've been spending the most money on filtration and also the Wise Pump Station, which is another big project going. Graphically, as far as billed water consumption, and I think January, February, and March is a great way to see the growth that our system is showing, because that's basically just what people are using in the inside of their houses. And you can see that trend from 2021 up through 2025 for January, February, and March, where they're just there's that slight uptick, which again is the new growth coming into the district. As far as billed water revenue, Again, we're seeing slight upticks in that, in overall revenue being billed, and you can see March 2025 up there. System development fees, as I said, we are seeing an uptick compared to last year. It's more in line with 2022, which is a very high year for the number of tap fees sold. And of course, the weather. We're looking at above normal temperatures and below normal precipitation. And whenever I say this, it always rains, so, you know, who knows how good this is. And that's everything that I did have for March.
Any questions?
I had just one.
Done.
Steve, the farm expense showed March year-to-date of $161,000, but the budget was only $28,700, but the annual budget's $236,000. So is that just an expense that's kind of coming in big lumps? And
I didn't look at that specifically, but that would be my guess. I can look at that tomorrow and get back to the board.
okay, great, thank you.
Sure.
No more questions? Informational discussion. Brightly, CMMS.
Good evening, directors. I'd like to again invite Guy Fitchie up. Guy works in the Technology Services Division as our program manager, and he's been doing a fantastic job for us working on both the CMMS and CIS projects. Director Langley requested an update on the computer maintenance management system, and Guy is here to provide that.
Evening, directors. How are you? Good. I'm here again. Is it picking me up? That's a good idea to turn that on. I'm here again to present to you on one of our programs and projects that we're working on. This is the CMMS. I'll go through and explain what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what the benefits are going to be for the organization and ultimately our customers, because maintaining our system is crucial to supplying good water and providing great sewer services. So the CMS, what is that? It's a computerized maintenance management system. Basically what this allows us to do is manage and track our maintenance activities, work orders. We can track assets. Assets are basically anything we own. It's a little bit different definition than what Steve has. In this scenario, assets are basically the physical property assets that we would maintain that would go into this system. We have verticals, which are above ground, and then we have linears or horizontal assets, which are the below ground assets. Those are like the pipes that are in the ground. Those are all going to be in this system eventually. We're working to set up the framework for that. These are the things that we can do with those items being in the system. We can administer preventative and predictive maintenance, which is crucial to operating a healthy system. We can access reporting from all of this and feed that up to business intelligence and analytics. What I've done here too is there's also a quick diagram to show that maintenance isn't just a simple, ask for something to be fixed or find something broken and fix it. There is a process to it, and there's an efficient process to doing it right. And that's what we're trying to do here with this computerized maintenance management system, is make that efficient and actually save costs to the district. So I won't go into detail on this. We're going to hit some highlights here as we move along so we know the importance of this system. Right here, we show basically the outline of what it takes to generate a work order efficiently, what makes work order management work. And this is some of the steps, or the primary steps you have to make sure that you effectively complete work order management of your system. And this could be, on a large scale or a small scale down to just a single job. But you'll notice number 7, perform continuous improvement reviews based on completed documentation. This system allows us to do that, to improve our processes as we go on. So this system is going to be crucial to us doing that and being successful. So what do we do now? Historically, we've had a system in place called Cartograph. We got this system a little over 20 years ago. It served a purpose. It's not been as functional as we would like it to be. It's not served as great a purpose as it could for our organization. So of course, nearing its end of life, or towards the end of it being implemented, as you can see, going on 17 years, it was time to look at it and see, is this the best path forward? And what we saw was towards the end of the tail end of that period, that the maintenance crews around here at ParkerWater had to start relying on spreadsheets and Word documents, manual processes. Assets weren't being centralized efficiently, and they're having to manually track work. And this is over 11,000 maintenance assets that these guys are trying to work on. And as you can see, I've shown a couple of examples here. This workflow here is just for one piece of a work order process. This is just a work order execution piece. So you can see it's very complex, and there's a decision tree that takes a lot of effort for a supervisor to manage and for the guys in the field to respond to. And then a partial list of some of our assets. This is just a very small snapshot of all of the information that we have on an asset, and we're going to capture that in this system and have it organized and be able to search it and work on it. So right now, a lot of this is being done manually. Not efficient, very difficult to do. Cartograph wasn't meeting our needs. So we went out and looked at what are other solutions? What are things that we can do? How can we move forward and update the system and get better? Cartograph was part of that. But I will tell you that when we went through the process, they were not the one that we selected, and I'll show you who we did eventually select. But being that Cartograph was no longer the solution, we were relying on manual processes, we started to live more in this unplanned reactive work zone. When you're in that zone and you're responding to maintenance requests or work that's needed on our system, that starts costing more money. We want to move the organization to more planned and proactive work. And a system like this will help us do that. It'll help us organize, gauge asset health, criticality, failure probabilities, and then what we can do is take that information, and a supervisor can use that to predict where the work needs to go, or see areas on a heat map that need more work than others, et cetera. So we're going to try to use this system to move back into the planned work, the proactive work, to save the organization, ultimately our ratepayers. So with that being said, when we went out to look at various organizations and entities that could provide this type of system to us, Brightly was a company that we selected. They work for a lot of large corporations and entities. I believe Pepsi is one of their customers as well. And the system that we're using or beginning with is called Asset Essentials. And again, asset used in a different term than the financial term that Steve would use it for. What are the program benefits? Again, we're going to be able to manage and maintain our assets and facilities, plan and schedule preventative maintenance effectively, streamline work orders, all the tasks that needs to be done on a daily basis. That enables us to make smarter budget decisions and then optimize our resourcing and communications. So we'll be able to communicate more effectively. Right now, we do a lot of these work orders through email. It's very inefficient. And so this will streamline the entire process. So what are we doing? When you build this type of system, you have to start with a framework. And this is different than like a CIS implementation, which I told you about, I think, last month. With a CMMS, it takes a long time to build and to get it structured with the inventory and the data that you need in order to be effective. So over time, it becomes more effective. So what you do is you build a great framework, and you start, and these are the items that we're going to start with, is work management is where we're going to start our focus. We're going to start with our governance, then into work order management, build the framework out so that we can eventually get to the top tier. So the system will grow and get better and work better for us as time goes on. But these are the items that we're going to start with in building the framework for that successful system. That builds the foundation to make this successful. So this is an example of some of the things that we're going to be initially be able to do with the Brightly system. This just shows you that much more well organized than a manual tracking system. The bottom right is a hierarchy that we developed that basically tells us where our assets are, where they fit in locations, sites, groups, categories, so that we can determine how to organize our assets, how we can address issues, attend to work orders, et cetera. The bottom left shows kind of a workforce overview. This allows a supervisor to see where his staff and the crews are working, what they're focusing on. Are they being efficient? Are they meeting their deadlines or scheduled tasks? Are they doing more reactive work or proactive work? The work orders heat map, there to the right, top right, shows what's active today, what's criticality, what needs to be addressed first. Are we meeting our deadlines? Are we meeting scheduled work, turnaround times, et cetera? Top left is an asset trend analysis. This allows the assets inside the system to be managed so that we can see, do we have an area of failing assets? Do we have assets that a particular category of assets that need more attention than others? We can look at this this is particularly useful for budgetary reasons, because then they can predict out even much further with asset analysis what we're going to need in the future to do replacement costs or reproductive costs, those kinds of things. So what have we done so far? We're working in partnership with our consultant, EMA, and these are the things that we've had to do so far to get the system ready to go live. We're at a critical point in the system. We've been working on it for quite a while, and it's taken quite a while to come up with a lot of this information and discern it, distill it down and filter it, correct it, and update it. And you'll see a lot of it refers to assets. That was a lot of work by a crews here at ParkerWater while doing their regular jobs to classify assets, determine the hierarchies, define them, and categorize them so that they could be attended to. Also, you'll see that we're working on system configuration, preventative maintenance, a failure library, which will lead to greater things later, and then we're doing a configuration demonstration. We're in part 2 of that coming up next week, or I believe at the week after that. And what we're doing at that point is we're looking at the live system and how it works and making sure it's configured correctly to start out with for ParkerWater. So we're making good progress right now. That puts us about right here on the implementation timeline. So we've done much of the planning, a lot of the design, and we're working towards the build. Again, as I was mentioning, that base configuration demo is what we're in the middle of right now. So then we'll be going into testing and deploying the initial asset or the initial system. So what's next? What we have on tap is an on-site inventory and assessment management workshop. What that does is that we're going to have some help here on site. We're waiting for a temporary inventory specialist that ParkerWater's hiring. It's also going to help with this workshop. And that's going to enable us to take all the inventory, the things that we've already invested money in, and we're going to be able to organize it, categorize it, and know where we stand, what we have in inventory, what we don't have in inventory. And this is going to save us a lot of money in duplication of orders, in items that are no longer useful, they've exceeded their expiration date, that kind of thing. So this is an important piece for our next step. I'm working with Emily in engineering. You've probably seen Emily up here presenting before. We're developing a capital project asset register. And what that does is that whenever we have a capital project, what we're doing is we're enabling that contractor, that developer, whomever is working on that project will build that asset register out for us on a template. So they'll put all the assets in to a template that we can load into this Brightly system. So we have those assets right from the get-go, including warranties, serial numbers, classifications, et cetera. So we'll have that right at the end of the project. It's a requirement. Then we'll go out and do a spot inspection to make sure they were accurate. Program configuration and data validation. That's where we're working to set up the system to make sure that it works the way we want it to, and then testing. If you look at the kind of the graph in the bottom right, what this is a visual representation, as I mentioned before, that it does take time for one of these systems to gain effectiveness. You start with a framework and you build on it. And the more information you feed it, the more information we add to it, the greater the effectiveness of the system, the better you're able to adjust it, respond, and manage your workflow so that you can be effective. So this is one of those systems where you don't just go live overnight like a CIS. You have an operational go live, and then you build the system, continually build the system, and get better and better and better. So this is something that's going to feed this organization and its success for years to come, and it's only going to get better as time goes on. Did you have a question, Mr. Wassman?
Yeah, I got several. It's just,
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I've been involved with this kind of stuff a long time ago, and it's amazing. With our old systems,
Yes.
how much data, like, we're changing a valve out, 2 hours. We're doing something else. Is the old system able to talk with the new system? Are we able to take data from and previous knowledge to put in here to help build? As you're saying, it takes a while to build it, but there's 17 years of knowledge that we should be able to pull somehow from that.
We are, and we did gather that knowledge. We actually have we have a data load that we're doing from Cartograph system, so we're going to actually bring that data over for our preventative maintenance package and for our assets. We've already got a lot of that data for our assets as well. So yes, we are bringing that over. Now we're going to update a lot of it, probably improve it, but we do have all the interval data, everything else that we gathered over the years.
My next question was a previous slide, I don't remember which one, but it talked about the couple types of maintenance, and this is way back in some of the beginning, but
The 7 steps.
where you're going to have preventive maintenance, and then there was another. I'm assuming it was predictive maintenance. Is that correct? Where we, based on the time and frame, we could expect this particular equipment to fail, or we need to change a part in it. Is that what it's going to do for us?
Correct, and we've laid the foundation for that. So what we did was an initial criticality analysis. Let me go to, let me go back. So this is probably where you're referring to the preventative and
Right,
proactive
right,
and predictive.
right, that's the
So
slide.
if I go back here, if you look on this spreadsheet here, this is actually a spreadsheet of the information that we're bringing over. If you look at the colored column there, we actually had a criticality matrix. So this is the foundation that we're building for that predictive maintenance. So we've actually assessed and had the crew assess what the likely failure rate is and what the criticality of the failure if it fails. And it goes into a matrix. And so that's being fed in there. And then along with preventative maintenance, things that are found during the normal preventative or scheduled maintenance, we can do predictive analysis as the system builds. You won't be able to do it so well at the beginning because it's all new information. But we can build on that. That's part of the system where it grows in intelligence that it's able to provide to us. And yes, eventually we'll be able to do predictive maintenance so that it predicts failures before they happen.
I think it's pretty exciting.
Oh, it's great stuff, yeah, for sure. The team's really excited. They're hungry for this, so, yeah. Any other questions, or?
I'm just impressed how far we've come since this board's been involved. And whether the cartograph fit our needs or not, I think it did initially. And if we've outgrown its abilities, it's time to move to the next level.
Yep.
And as we've grown, our demands and our needs have grown too. So I'm tickled that we're on the project and where we are on the project. So thanks again.
Perfect. Thank you. Yep, we're really excited, and I think it's going to do great things.
Good deal.
And we have the project in great hands, taking us forward.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
So,
Thank you.
We're going to be here anyways, right?
so just a couple comments. When I listen to this, it's interesting. I'm actually getting old. In the late 80s, when I worked for Metropolitan in Southern California, we would go out to the Colorado River Aqueduct, and they had pumps, literally the size of this room. And their way to do preventive maintenance is they'd have a nickel on its edge sitting on the pump. And as long as it stood up, life was good. But when it fell over, they knew to do something. And nowadays, of course, we have computers measuring vibration, and we can get ahead of it. So it's really cool to see. But what I want to do is somewhat related to this. So as a leadership team, we have this going on, and this is a lot of internal work. And we have the customer service stuff coming on just a couple months before this. This summer, we're hitting a peak. And there is a stress level because everyone's excited, they want to get this done, but it's a lot of work going on. And so as a leadership team, our job is to recognize that, and so we are working with our teams, what can we defer, push, de-scope, whatever, to help folks get through this. This is the priority, and then we'll pick up the other stuff later. So you might see some legs and stuff. We haven't identified those yet, but the overall goal is just to, if we're going to ask people to put so much effort into here, feels like we need to take away a little bit for the next few months to quality of life purposes. So that's how.
It's all good. Okay, request for approval, Town of Parker IGA, Stroh Road Crossing.
All right, I'm going to invite Heather Justice up to present on this request. Heather doesn't do a lot of our capital projects, but she took over this one when she first came on, and this is probably her last hurrah on this one. We're going to turn this over to Stephanie Sansom for the construction. She is in charge of our capital program, but would like Heather to present this to you this evening.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me here tonight to seek your approval for the execution and payment of the intergovernmental agreement with the Town of Parker for the cost sharing of the district's pipeline in the Stroh Road Improvement Project. So I just wanted to give you an overall perspective of the entire project. This is a 24-inch pipeline that originates at Regional Pond and will terminate at a connection point with the existing 36-inch pipeline just south of Stroh Road. And this is, I'll get into a little bit more background here. So in 2022, engineering took over doing an alternative analysis really to identify alternative scenarios to capture our return flows and our alluvial flows and some non-tributary groundwater that we can send up to Ritter Hess Reservoir. And what came out of this project is what we're calling the Regional to Cherry Creek Pump Station Project, which is this pipeline design, which was competitively bid in 2023 and was awarded to HDR. And it's a 24-inch pipeline, like I said, and the indicated capacity gained from the alternatives analysis was 18.5 MGD. That was the total project. So right now, we're building the first 24-inch pipeline. In early January, we realized that with the town of Parker, that the portion of the project under Stroh Road would be happening the same time that they're trying to expand Stroh Road at the bridge. So we decided to coordinate between the two of us, and we entered into an IGA, which is basically coordinates the timing of construction, so we're not interfering with each other, and it lets us have some cost-sharing benefits too. The big thing too that helps the district is that this will be an open cut placement of the pipeline rather than doing a bore under the road and the bridge. And the district was unsuccessful once with a bore, hitting a buried car that was underneath there. The limits of this construction package is basically just north of the existing bridge. It's kind of like near the sidewalk. And then it does make the connection with the 36-inch. And you can see this is, I like adding a little bit of engineering into the CIP I do get to do. The original CIP budget allocation was just over 13 million. After the alternative analysis and the engineering design services and the services during construction package, we have just over 12 million left for construction. The request tonight is for $447,800, which is our portion of the construction contract. And it is well within the allocated budget or remaining funds. The one thing to note is that the town will be managing this contract for us. It is under the town's contract, but our engineers will be involved during the process. We expect to have the remaining portion of this contract will be released soon for bid, probably May. Any questions?
How much money do you anticipate of savings by doing it, incorporating it with the town rather than having to or drill underneath the road and all that other stuff?
The estimated amount for a bore was just under 700,000. So if you look at it from direct cost, it's that. But I think there's a lot of other benefits to having this IGA with the town. The main thing is just the reduction of the risk.
Right, and the other thing is that we don't have to tear up Stroh Road a second time in there.
Exactly.
So there's convenience for our ratepayers, or not even necessarily our ratepayers, but people just in the greater Parker area.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I understand when the town is done with this and this first part of the project, there will be a piece of pipe under the road, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And just be terminated on each side of the road.
Yep.
And then the rest of the project is to come connect to that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can, let me see. Right here is where they'll cap it. Once this is laid in, they'll cap it. This will be connected when they're done, and then we'll come in and make that final connection.
So it's only one side that won't be connected.
Yeah.
So-
What's the timeline on the pipeline from the south side?
On the north side
You say we'll cap that at the south side?
or the north side? We cap the north. We
Well,
connect. We connect on the south side. This is the existing
Oh, I-
36.
I had it backwards. Excuse me.
Yep, and this is the north side. And so we will begin construction this year on the remaining, from Regional to Stroh Road.
Yeah, that south line was put in a few years ago?
Yeah, it was put in probably 10 years ago plus. Yeah, it's
okay.
been there for a while.
Yeah.
No, I had it
It's
upside
just
down.
an example of a good collaborative project.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. It saves us almost 200,000 and the risk of potentially hitting another buried car underneath Stroh Road, which was a huge impact the first time we tried to bore under Stroh.
Was there anybody in the car?
I don't think so.
Yeah, and we certainly appreciate the town of Parker and for working with us. And I'll just make this tie. 2 weeks ago, we talked about our strategic plan, and this is just tying to what we're doing. One of the strategic initiatives is the outreach to the cities we serve. And so in this particular case, Rebecca meets monthly with her counterpart over in the town, and that's how we keep these things front and center, so we don't get off and start tearing up brand new roads.
Okay. Are there any more questions? No more questions? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
We got a motion and a second. Do we have a vote?
yes.
Yes. Passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. That moves us to the point we have a 10-minute recess, and then we go into executive session on 2 issues.
Sounds good, thank you.
cameras can come
online
back
to
on. Okay.
So just for the record, I think probably just for the record, the time is 8:27, and we finished the 2 executive sessions. Everything complied with the executive session laws, and now we're ready for adjournment.
Adjourned.
Thank you.
Thousands of people will be watching that.